Right now, the U.S. has carried out an overnight attack on Venezuela, capturing its president. What we know so far. And Madison residents are protesting military action in that country. Hear from them directly. Plus, Wisconsin lawmakers are speaking out about the strikes, how both sides of the aisle are reacting. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. This morning, the U.S. carried out large-scale strikes on Venezuela and captured its president, Nicolas Maduro. The overnight action follows months of massive military buildup off the coast of Venezuela. It's involved 15,000 U.S. troops in the Caribbean and more than 30 deadly strikes on alleged drug boats off the coast since September. Lawmakers, particularly Democrats, have been questioning the legality of those strikes. During that time, the U.S. has also seized multiple Venezuelan oil tankers, which it claimed were under sanctions. Now, following this new action, the question on everyone's mind is what happens next? Many Americans were surprised after the events that took place in Venezuela early this morning, including Wisconsin District 2 Representative Mark Pocan. Our Maya Tate has more from him and other lawmakers on their reactions.
The capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and strike earlier has sparked questions over the legality of the Trump administration's actions. Representative Mark Pocan said that what played out was illegal. The War Powers Resolution is a United States law that says the president must get approval from Congress before armed forces can be used abroad. Pocan also said that even in a classified meeting, he was told that Congress would be notified if anything happened on the ground. Something that the administration didn't do.
So, the law is clear. You have to consult with Congress. That's crystal clear. And they chose not to do that. And you can't just pick and choose the laws when you're the president. You have to abide by the laws and make sure that they're followed. And you just can't be the lawbreaker in chief. Unfortunately, that's what they did.
Pocan continued to say that if something like this happened with another country, the United States wouldn't let it stand. Representative Brian Stile could not be reached this afternoon, but said on X, quote, Nicolas Maduro is a narco-terrorist indicted on drug trafficking charges. He contributed to the overdose death of thousands of Americans each year. Tammy Baldwin joined her fellow lawmakers with a statement of her own, saying, quote, she is committed to stopping the flow of illegal drugs, but also added that the way in which Trump went about the situation was unconstitutional. Pocan says that when Congress meets next week, it will be up to Republicans to join with what he assumes will be most Democrats in holding the administration accountable.
Maya, thank you. As Congress returns next week, Pocan expects lawmakers to discuss the lack of notification with the Trump administration and its cabinet secretaries. And around the country, people are reacting to the news from early this morning of that attack. Protesters were outside in Madison this afternoon. Our Nash Darrow caught up with them and has more.
After recent conflict arisings with the United States of America and Venezuela, protests across the nation have come to fruition after Donald Trump's capturing of the South American country's president, Nicolas Maduro. After a string of large-scale attacks carried out early Saturday morning by the Trump administration, members of various anti-war groups and others joined outside the state's capital to share their objection and reaction to the breaking news.
Well, outrage, one, that the United States would go in and bomb a sovereign country with no justification the way that they have. I think everybody here is angry that this is happening. We don't want this war, but we're also optimistic that we can build a movement that will stop it.
The two countries' disputed relationship dates back quite some time, but the planned ambush from the U.S. military marks a key point in the country's ongoing disagreements.
However much the U.S. dislikes their system, we have no right to go into a sovereign country and kidnap their president and take them back to the United States. And so we're out here to say no war, no kidnapping, stop the bombings, stop the siege on Venezuela, and let Nicolas Maduro return back to Venezuela.
Maduro and his wife were captured in Caracas, Venezuela's capital. He was seen on President Trump's social media, blindfolded on board the USS Iwo Jima, where he was being taken to New York for prosecution.
In this circumstance, we have gone into a country, kidnapped their head of state, and are now trying to attempt regime change. All of this done without any congressional consultation, all of this done against the will of the Venezuelan people, and all of this done overnight with no warning.
The protest today in Madison is just one of many happening all over the country this afternoon and into tomorrow. For now, outside the Capitol, Nash Darrow, News 3 Now.
Nash, thank you. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is now on U.S. soil. He and his wife are facing charges related to drug trafficking in the U.S. President Trump also says the U.S. is going to run the country until it can safely transition power. Charlie D'Agata has the full breakdown.
Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores touched down in New York this evening after an audacious snatch-and-grab operation in Venezuela overnight. In the early hours of Saturday morning, a swarm of U.S. military helicopters, special forces units known as the Night Stalkers, descended on Caracas, and explosions lit up the sky, signaling that Operation Absolute Resolve was underway.
It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice.
President Trump and his team watched the mission unfold from his Mar-a-Lago home as soldiers of the Army's elite Delta Force dropped in and breached Maduro's compound just after 2 a.m. local time.
He was trying to get into a safe place. You know, the safe place is all steel. And he wasn't able to make it to the door because our guys were so fast.
Officials tell CBS News that a CIA source inside the Maduro government had tracked the dictator's movements for months.
Where he lived, where he traveled, what he ate, what he wore, what were his pets.
Within 2.5 hours of U.S. forces touching down, Maduro and his wife were at sea. The president posting this image of a handcuffed and blindfolded Maduro aboard the USS Iwo Jima. One of the U.S. helicopters was hit, and some U.S. soldiers were injured in the raid.
On arrival into the target area, the helicopters came under fire, and they replied with that fire with overwhelming force in self-defense. One of our aircraft was hit.
Horrible. At least 5 strategic targets were hit, including military bases and the country's main port.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
The president said today the U.S. will take over Venezuela without explaining how that's going to work, how long it could last, or whether U.S. troops would be needed to do it. He also said the U.S. will take over the country's oil reserves.
We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country.
Trump suggested that Venezuela's vice president, now interim president Delcy Rodriguez, will cooperate. But today she denounced the U.S. operation and insisted Maduro is still the head of state. Pentagon officials say that this mission was months in the making. Commandos actually built a replica of the Maduro compound in order to rehearse, and we're told more than 150 aircraft in all took part. Charlie D'Agata, CBS News, West Palm Beach.
Certainly something we'll continue to keep you updated on, but for now, let's go ahead and get a look at your first one forecast. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington joins us now. Alex.
Yes, and let's fast forward to tomorrow evening. That is the most impactful weather that we're going to see here over the next couple of days here. Area of light snow, little light freezing rain, some freezing drizzle, and some slick spots may develop as we go into the Sunday afternoon, into the Sunday evening time frame. A little price to pay for warmer temperatures on the way, going all the way up now to 44 on Thursday, and then back down into the mid to upper 20s as we head out about 8, 9, 10 days. And those temperatures are actually normal for this time of year. So get ready for the warm up, but that little bit of ice Sunday evening going into Sunday night may cause a couple of slick spots. Tonight we'll dip down to 10 degrees here in Madison, a little warmer to the south and to the west where they hang on to a bit of those clouds. And as we move on into Sunday, that mix, Madison, Lone Rock areas off towards the north and towards the northwest. We'll track that mix when I come back in just a couple of moments using Future Track. I'll let you know when it starts, when it peaks, and when it ends. That's coming up.
All right, sounds good, Alex. We'll see you then. A man is arrested following a standoff at a home in Janesville. Saturday afternoon. Janesville PD responded to the 1100 block of Tyler Street, where a man had a warrant through probation and several new charges from Beloit PD. Officers blocked off the surrounding areas and set a perimeter around the house. Police said the man refused to exit the home, and officers eventually entered. Officers spoke with the man for approximately 20 minutes before he surrendered and was taken into custody. He was taken and held at the Rock County Jail. Beloit Police will be conducting follow-ups regarding their charges. No injuries were reported after a garage fire on the city's north side Friday night. Several crews responded to the 1600 block of Wyoming Way just before 8:30 p.m. and immediately began a fire attack. Another crew stopped the fire from spreading to the other structures. The homeowner was given patient care on scene. The cold temperatures required city salt trucks to be called for ice. Fortunately, no one was displaced and damage costs are still being determined. The fire is still under investigation. A Wisconsin state judge is convicted of blocking ICE agents from doing their job has resigned. Hannah Dugan announced Saturday she is stepping down. Dugan formally resigned in a letter she sent to Governor Tony Evers. If she had not resigned, the state legislature had threatened to impeach Dugan. A jury convicted her last month of obstructing federal agents attempting to arrest an undocumented immigrant who was in her courtroom to face a battery charge. Dugan let the immigrant and his lawyer secretly leave her courtroom when she learned ICE agents were standing outside of her courtroom. Dugan faces up to 5 years in prison. She's appealing her conviction. And looking ahead, the much-beloved musical Hamilton is playing at the Overture Center this week, and you still have a chance to be in the room where it happens. The critically acclaimed and award-winning musical will have performances from January 6th through the 18th. Most performances are at 7:30 p.m., though there are a couple of afternoon showings on the 10th, 11th, 17th, and the 18th. Balcony boxes, and mezzanine tickets are largely sold out, but there are some circle, upper orchestra, and orchestra tickets still available. You can find out more on how to get your tickets at tickets.overture.org/Hamilton. And next weekend, Non-Alcoholic Day is returning to the Burr Oak in Madison for its third installment on Saturday, January 10th. Attendees will be able to try samples of more than 50 non-alcoholic products, including beers, seltzers, kombucha, spirits, hemp-deprived products, and more. There'll be 2 sessions in total, one from noon to 2 p.m. and another from 2 to 4 p.m. Tickets cost $20 in advance and $30 at the door. Coming up next on News 2 Now at 10, Alex returns with a complete look of your First One forecast. And are you looking to get in shape this year? How you can stick to your goals of fitness this year. And Tesla has been dethroned. See who sat atop EV sales in 2025.
Establish a framework for insight so there's at least a third.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10. Moving forward.
Well, how's your New Year's resolution coming along so far? The Baylor College of Medicine says 88% of people who are likely to give up by the 31st. But there's ways that you can prevent that from happening. The gym is a popular place for people and their New Year's resolutions. Trainers and experts are preaching consistency. If you want to achieve any fitness-related goals this year, you should get to the gym at least weekly. Don't set expectations too high or be too impatient. That's 2 big reasons why people fail. Trauma expert Alyssa Smith says the best way to stay consistent is to start off with small and easy goals. Millions of Americans enrolled in health insurance plans through the Affordable Care Act can expect to pay significantly more this year. That's because enhanced federal tax credits supporting the program have expired. The subsidies ended after Congress failed to pass legislation extending them. Some experts expect premium payments to more than double on average. As a result, insurance navigators are urging consumers to review their options carefully. There are some alternatives that may help reduce cost, but have their own drawbacks. Private insurance plans may offer lower monthly premiums, but often come with higher out-of-pocket costs. And short-term medical plans may also have lower premiums, but typically include high deductibles and limited coverage. And Tesla has lost its crown as the world's best-selling EV maker. On Friday, Chinese rival BYD overtook the company in end-of-year manufacturing totals. Tesla said that it delivered 1.64 million vehicles in 2025, down 9% from a year earlier. BYD delivered 2.26 million, and experts say the lower performance is due to a range of factors, one being Musk's embracing of right-wing politics. Now let's go ahead and get a look at your first warn forecast. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington joins us. Alex.
I am, and let's get off with the three things you need to know here. Starting off with those three things, a little light mix here for Sunday. That's a transition towards warmer weather next week, and then later in the week, tracking a weather system, and a large part of that weather system could be in the form of rain, not in the form of snow. But we'll move forward here. System number one, clouds at noon tomorrow. Then as we head into the afternoon, latest weather models are indicating that our weather system Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening may eye up areas a little bit further to the north than originally the past couple days have been suggesting. This would take that north of Juneau, Adams, Marquette, and Green Lake counties, but still freezing drizzle cannot be ruled out in southern Wisconsin as that little system brushes off towards the east. By midnight, it's already off towards the east, or at least the bulk of it. And then as we go into Monday, we're going to have a lot of clouds, but the warm-up begins. Here in the Midwest, though, here's this quick little system moving just north and west of Minneapolis at center of low pressure. Snow stretches from northern Wisconsin down to just trying to sneak Madison again here with a little bit of freezing rain, a little freezing drizzle mixed in, just enough that we could have a couple of slick spots to deal with, as I've been mentioning here the past couple of days with those light snow showers, that light freezing rain, the freezing drizzle, a few slick spots close by in southern Wisconsin. So be on guard tomorrow. The bottom line is the best chances currently north and northeast of Madison. A little light glaze is a possibility, and the timing will be between 3 p.m. Sunday and about 6 a.m. on Monday. Tonight we'll get down to about 10 here in Madison. A little cooler to the north and east where they have a little bit more snow on the ground. A little bit warmer off towards the west, Prairie du Chien, Platteville, and Monroe, where the clouds may hang on just a touch longer. And then those clouds build back in. We see that mix eyeing up here, the Wisconsin River Valley to Madison, areas off towards the north. And I think Juneau, Adams, Marquette, Green Lake counties have the best chance of seeing this light mix and the potential for those slick spots Sunday afternoon going into Sunday evening. We may have another brief area of light freezing rain and freezing drizzle Monday night going into Tuesday, and then that weather system behind me here that I'm hiding, I'm not going to hide it any longer, shower activity building in as we go into Thursday night. Those showers mixing with some wet snow possibly on Friday afternoon going into Friday evening with some remaining snow showers as we go out into next weekend. But we'll keep a close eye on that weather system. Its track will be key to whether or not we see that mix of rain and snow, all rain, or dare I say, although it's the time of year for it, there are some weather models indicating could be all snow, but we'll have to keep a close eye on that one.
And I know that we had spoke earlier that we need some precipitation, so whether it's rain or the snow, much needed for us.
Absolutely. Yesterday, I was just mentioning, don't forget the drought monitor. Some areas are in moderate to severe drought, and you'd think with the snow that we've had this year that we wouldn't be in this situation, but we are.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the weather never stopping, neither does sports. Kay, what do we have coming up?
Coming up next in sports, we have the Packers and how they're rebuilding heading into the playoffs. Next on News 3 Now. Well, with conference play among us, the stakes are very high every game, and after 8 games, the Badgers are looking to remain undefeated in the Kohl Center as they took on Purdue tonight. Starting off hot, Alexius with an easy jumper to take the lead with lots of back and forth in this game. Braden Carrington steps back and then drains a 3 that would make it a 2-point game. And then the leading scorer of the night, Nick Boyd, puts up 2 of his 24 points, but the Badgers didn't finish this one losing 89-73, making it their first loss in the Kohl Center this season. And as the Packers prepare to take on the Minnesota Vikings, there are lots of injuries and players that just need rest and healing before the playoffs start. And so tomorrow's going to look a lot different, and our very own Jason Wilde has the breakdown.
The NFL is not Pop Warner football. It is not Little League baseball where everyone gets to play 2 innings. It is about winning. As Herm Edwards once said, you play to win the game. But the Packers in their regular season finale against the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday are in a slightly different spot. Their playoff position is set, and it means an opportunity for the coaches, general manager, and everyone else to see a variety of players who might not otherwise get the chance to play in a regular season NFL game. And for some, there's something romantic about that.
It's been fun in practice, to be honest with you, because there's a level of excitement with these guys, because some of them do know they're about to get an opportunity of a lifetime, right? Some guys who might have been on the practice squad a week ago, and they're now finding out that they're going to get a chance to go against Justin Jefferson and Madison and a really good football team. I mean, I think, that's the beautiful part of this league. Sometimes it only takes one opportunity and it could change your life, right? And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's, like I said, anytime you get to play, it's a blessing. So, whatever the circumstances are, I don't really look at that. I just look at it as, it's a great opportunity, so.
The benefits are twofold of getting this opportunity. For one, these players get to show the Packers what they're capable of, and maybe they stick around in 2026. On the flip side, even if they aren't in the Packers' plans, they get good film that they can show to other teams and maybe get an opportunity there. You'll get to see those players in action right here on Channel 3. The game kicks off at noon, and we'll have full coverage from Minneapolis on our website, channel3000.com. While you're there, make sure you sign up for the Packers newsletter, which delivers our coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
And lastly, tonight, with some other Badgers, Ricardo Hallman announced today that on social media that he will be declaring for the 2026 NFL Draft. Ricardo played for the Badgers his entire collegiate season, which is unheard of amidst of the transfer portal, but 73 solo tackles, 17 pass breakups, and 10 interceptions for Ricardo. How about that?
I mean, great career, another Badger defender headed to the next level. But real quick, your thoughts on the Packers closing out the regular season?
I mean, I'm just glad they have Trayvon Diggs to be in that secondary because they need a lot of help. Most of the injured players for the Packers are defensive players, so just being able to have that is going to be crucial going into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we had talked earlier, but I'm curious if Micah got in somebody's ear like, hey, go get my boy.
Bring my boy over. He probably did. Maybe some whispers.
Just
maybe
a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Micah playing a little GM. All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Kay. We'll be back with more after the break. All right, we're going to get to Alex in just a second, but Cam, I'm going to go back to you. Packers playing right here on News 3 now tomorrow afternoon. Last game of the season. What are you hoping to see out of the Pack before we enter the postseason?
I mean, I really think just the cleanup in the secondary, I think that's going to be the main thing. Everybody says it all the time, defense wins championships. But with the third-string quarterback starting and not really seeing Jordan Love because he's, still coming back and everything, you won't really be able to assess anything.
Sure.
So I think just defensively, just seeing how everything pans out for them and how Jeff's, moves people around and works things around to see if they can get this win tomorrow.
I'm with you on that one. And again, that's right here on Channel 3. Alex, what should we expect as we head into the end of the night?
A little wintry mix as we go into tomorrow. Tonight, cold. Tomorrow, temperatures normal for this time of year, but that mix north and northeast of Madison could make a little bit of a glaze and a couple of slick spots as we go into Sunday evening, and then the warm up. Temperatures in the 40s by the time we get to Wednesday.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Alex, and thank you, Kay. Thank you all for joining us. Seinfeld is up next.